Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Brenda Generali. I'm with Joyful Living Services, and I'm here with June, who is one of my first certified comprehensive iridologists. She was in one of my first classes a long time ago, and she is here to give us a little bit of information about herself. Good morning, June.
Good morning. I think it's still morning.
It
I know our
is.
time zones are different, and if I could ever figure that one out, then I think I'm really winning this one. Yeah. So my name is June Baker, and I live in the high deserts of New Mexico. A lot of people call it the land of enchantment. I always say it's a place you can check in and you can't check out because you don't want to once you've visited the area. It's so beautiful and so full of uh, history and just a wonderful place to live. And I'm a resident, have been here forever. I think it's 17 generations.
Wow.
So we've been here for a long time. We've traced our family line all the way back. So I have a grandmother that's native, and then my mother is Hispanic. So we kind of have that nice little blend of the two together. And also was raised in a home where my mother was very uh, good about putting herbs together and helping you if you had a tummy ache. The one thing she would do is give you a little bit of baking soda water, which ties into the alkalization, right? And so she knew to alkalize us. If we said, Mom, my stomach hurts, she says, come here. And she put a little baking soda and water and stir it and say, drink this. And then you give out this big belch and then you were fine. So wonderful being raised in that kind of an environment. I was raised up against the Rio Grande River as a child, just ran through it, ate out of the apple trees and the apricot trees, and just lived a outdoors type of organic type of a living. So it was something that I've always been drawn to and have been blessed because my mother was a nurse and she was able to implement a lot of the things that she knew in the medical profession as well as blended in to what is holistic. So I work as a natural wellness practitioner in our area. I've been doing it for over 30 years. And I have people coming in to see me from all walks of life. And what happened during the pandemic really put a halt to what I do on a regular basis, which see people coming in, you're able to hug them, you're able to talk with them, you're able to sit with them. And all of a sudden, we could not do it. Wearing a mask did not make a difference. People were afraid to come out. So in comes Superwoman, Jen, Brenda Generelli. My husband found her on Facebook and he said, you need to call her. Because I kept saying, I think if I did an iridology class, that would probably work. And he kept saying, well, I found her. I found her. And I just pretty much said to him, you really don't know what you're talking about. But he really did. So one day I picked up the phone and called this woman. And I think I went through an interrogation for about 30 minutes and then finally said, okay, I'll try it. What I found through that was that even though I have a tool belt of different things that I work with, like I do, lots of people with detox and body alkalization and just a gamut of things. A big weight loss is big though. That one's interesting because if somebody can come in with a broken arm and you'll say, if you could change anything in your life right now, what would it be? And they said, lose weight. So they would do that over a cast, and I'm the same way too. It can ruin my day to not feel good in the clothing I'm wearing. So I'm very careful with that. Eating right. I work with helping people balance their bodies with eating properly according to their blood types. Uh, I love aromatherapy. That's one of my main things. I do work with flower remedies, which help people with their emotions. So I do kind of just a little bit of everything. But when this came around, I had gone to a meeting where a woman taught iridology for like 4 hours, I think it was, which really just was the tip of the iceberg, but it was enough to get me interested. And so that's why I searched and looked and found this awesome instructor. I'm telling you, I have been through, I don't know, I could probably wallpaper a room with all the certifications I have. And I had to really say, I stop here because Brenda, you are the best instructor ever, ever, ever. And I'm not just saying that because you're there looking at me, but it's the truth. You're very good, very clear. You make sure that our comprehension is there. You answer the questions, no matter how silly or crazy or dumb we think they are. You never make us feel like, that's a dumb question. You just answer the question like, okay, let's take this back here and let's find out where this is at. Finding out that you can look at the entire eye and look at the whole body through the eye was just fascinating to me. It just drew me in even more. So I needed more. I wanted more. And so even after taking that beginning class, it wasn't enough, right? I even brought in my sister-in-law and I said, come on, you got to do this with me. And so we both joined in like a little team. And it's kind of fun if you do it, ask somebody to join in with you because it's fun to have more than one person with you, have a partner. And so we got through the classes. The one class that people probably had the most difficulty in was the one where they would sketch and draw. That was my favorite one because that helped me see the different parts of the eye. Also, I like that you could look, I call this your before, your beginning, your past, your present, and your future. So your past is what has happened in the past genetically in your family. And you can see that through the sclera, the white of the eye. And then when you look at the iris, then you're looking at where am I right now and how does it relate to my past? And then how can I make this better in my future? So it's just a complete holistic program that really helps. Whether you want to do this just for yourself, which is amazing and I encourage it, or if you want to do it for your family, do it. If you want to start sharing it with others, if you're like me, I never even go to the bathroom alone. I take a group, so people will follow you along with something that you're passionate about, something that you really know is going to make a difference. And so I highly recommend this. It's a practice. It has been around for a very, very long time. It can be shared with people. And one of the main things too that I don't know if I mentioned it already, sometimes I ramble on, well, or so I've been told. Anyway, is that I was able to reach people that I could not reach during the pandemic. So during that whole time, I learned how to send a small video out to teach people how to take a picture of their own eye. Then they would send it to me. Then I was able to look at it and go through an analysis with it, which Brenda does lay that out for you. You don't have to reinvent the wheel here. She's already done that. She's got the wheel. So you just go in there and then you fill in all these things. And then you're able to send back to them some recommendations to help them. Remember, you're not a doctor. You're just making recommendations. And a lot of these things really help people get through and transition through that difficult season that we all went through. So take the class that I would say take many classes, take as all you can, learn all you can, because it's either, like I said, part of your arsenal in your tool belt, or it can be your main thrust, your main drive that you're going to be doing. It did help me stay above water, by the way. I forgot to mention that, is that I no longer was receiving the income that I was normally used to receiving from seeing people on a regular basis. So I had to figure out something else. And through Iridology and through being able to send this out via internet and then having people respond and then having doing their talking with them online through Zoom or different places like that, it really kept my head above water and I was able to get through those 2 years. It was amazing and I still use it to this day. Thank you, Brenda.
Thank you, June. Thank you very much for sharing. Um, I appreciate your time. And can you tell us a little bit about your oils? You were telling me about some oils that you're working with now that have really been helping a lot of people. Can you share a little bit about that?
Sure. I love working with aromatherapy. It's one of my favorite things to do. I mean, if you could see the top of my desk, it's like covered with oils, and I'm always looking for that next thing, So I had a person come and see me. Like I said, we live in a very historic area, and it's very steeped in history, but it's also a place where people are very strong in their faith and their belief. So there's a place in New Mexico that is called El Santuario, or the Sanctuary. And it is located in Chimayo, New Mexico, and you can look it up. And a lot of people make pilgrimages there once a year, but people do go there all the time. It's always busy because people are looking, they have what's called holy dirt, and people take some of the dirt, and you'll see in their chapel and in their church, you'll see a place where people have hung their crutches and their canes and their walkers and stuff because they feel like they've been healed there. So I was approached by one of the gallery owners that's in the same area, which they're raised there and lived right on the property of the Santuario. Isn't that amazing? And asked if I would create a blend for them, that I would create a signature blend for the gallery that would tie in with everything. So it's called Holy Oil. It's just called Holy Oil. And so what I use the botanicals from Israel, very sacred oils. I mean, we use the blend that what was Jesus' feet washed with, which is spikenard, frankincense, what was given to the Christ child, things like that are in that particular blend. And what's happening as a result of that, and I've been doing it for maybe, I would say, like 7 years, something like that. Didn't realize what was happening other than she kept ordering it, and I'd take big quantities to them. They would have it blessed again with holy water and all that. And then people were purchasing it and taking it and using it and beginning to receive miraculous healings from it, which was interesting. We had a young man that was in a wheelchair and hadn't been able to come out of the wheelchair, and his dad purchased the oil and used it on the son, and then reported back in a few days that the son was out of the chair and walking. So he decided he was going to share it with a man that was in a coma, and gave it to a man in a coma, and he came out of the coma. I just recently received another one from a man from our Albuquerque area. He has his own business and has employees, and has one employee in particular that his wife had had 5 miscarriages. So he had purchased several of the little vials from me and gave him one and said, just apply this to your stomach's tummy. He said, apply it on her tummy. Pray and believe that she's going to conceive. So he's telling me this after the fact, right? So he comes in and he says, I need 5 more bottles. And I said, okay. And he said, oh, by the way, she conceived. And then about a week later, he said she had a boy. And I was like, what? That is crazy. And so he said, can I have some more? I have a friend that's in a coma right now, so we want to put it on him as he transitions. So, you may not see people coming out of death or thing, but when you believe, it's amazing what can happen. And so I'm blessed to be able to be a part of that.
Wow. Very, very powerful. Very powerful. Very
Yes,
important work that you're
it is.
doing. Very
Thank you.
important. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for your time. Thank you for
You're
being
welcome.
here. I haven't talked to you for a while, and I love that
I
you're still
know.
working with Iridology, and so appreciate you spending your time with me today.
Thank you for asking. It's been my pleasure. And of course, I always hold a special place in my heart, in my head, in my brain, remembering you all the time, and all the crazy nonsense and the fun times we've had, and how diligent and how faithful you are to help us, along the journey. I mean, you could keep this all to yourself, but you don't. And so, because you could, but it's something that we can all be a part of, and that we can all share with other people. So keep spreading it. It's
Yes.
awesome.
Keep letting everybody know. Learn iridology, use iridology, and help others.
That's right. Thank
Thank
you.
you, June.
Bye bye.